And this is Joe again with another review. And for I think this video to continue my most recent trend of doing reviewing finales. This one is no different. I'm doing the for this video I'm doing a review of the 32nd season of my favorite reality show, and that is Survivor. And I can't believe there's been 32 seasons of this, and 32 technically 31 winners. There's one winner won twice. Um, of this the show that actually started the trend of the reality competition shows. And this one is definitely the most, I think the most vicious, but definitely the hardest one to do for the contestants anyway, because this one was in, I think it was in Asia, and this one they had the hottest time there. The the humidity was unbelievable, and it was like over 100 degrees with plus 100% humidity almost every day there. And you had one challenge where three contestants, one on each tribe actually, collapsed from heat exhaustion and heat stroke, and only one of the three was serious enough that they pulled them out, actually evacuated them by helicopter to a hospital. Um, and all three contestants were actually pulled out of the game for medical reasons. One I mentioned already, Caleb, I believe the guy's name was, and he was the most physically of all the guys to had to be pulled out because he just collapsed from heat exhaustion. They had to literally ice him down, bring him packed the ice. And ice him down. Another one had heat stroke. One of the women, two of the women had one woman had heat stroke, and the other one just collapsed uh, from the heat for overdoing it in one of the immunity challenges. Another one was pulled. Another contestant was pulled out because with Nick, he had to be the first member of the jury because he had an infection in his knee from a bite or cut or something on his knee, and they had to pull him out. And also another one, Joe, who was the oldest contestant, like 71-year-old former FBI agent. He had to be pulled out because his bladder got affected. He couldn't go to the bathroom, couldn't relieve himself, so he had to be pulled out. But other than that, this has been a pretty good season. But the one that won was the one I didn't expect to win, and that was Michelle, who was a bartender from New Jersey, and who was definitely one of the hottest women who ever won on Survivor. Ranks up there with Jenna Moresco from the Amazon and Paulie Shallow. I mean, that's how hot this girl is. I mean, physically hot, smoking hot. And she won. I didn't expect her to win. The reason why, because I expected maybe Sydney, the female bodybuilder, to win, or maybe even Ty to win. Uh, I'm surprised that I think Ty didn't get any votes in the final vote. Um, that that wasn't even announced anymore. Who got the most votes in the final tribal? Well, you know that Michelle got at least 4 votes because there are 7 jury members for this season because it was like a twist in it. Because usually most of the time you have nine jury members, nine and sometimes 10, depending when they start, and you're putting people on the jury. But this time they actually had 8. So naturally, of course, you had an even number, and they want an odd number of jury members. So on the final challenge, which you thought was going to be the final immunity, instead of having three people, you have like two instead of a final 3. What I prefer was 2 people instead of 3, because usually the third person usually doesn't get any votes. Now, with last season when you had Jeremy won, he got all 10 jury votes. So it was, I think like the first time ever where somebody got all 10 votes. Uh, but usually one of the 3 people, if it's the final 3 for the jury to vote on, usually one person doesn't get any jury votes for the final tribal, which I don't think is right. I mean, the third person usually gets screwed. Doesn't even get the one vote. I feel they should go back to the final 2 instead of 3. That's my opinion for what it's worth. Because Ty kept flipping and flopping with his alliances, and not only that, but he had two advantages in this game. He had an immunity idol. He also had a super idol, which he didn't use when Joe was pulled out of the game. He couldn't use it anymore. He couldn't use his idol anymore after when that happened, and he also had an extra vote. When he used that extra vote to try to vote out Michelle, and he was the only one who was pushing to vote Michelle out, and there was no real explanation. He didn't really give a real explanation as to why he wanted Michelle out, and he was trying to convince the other contestants who were left, uh, why he wanted Michelle out of the game, and he gave like a real name because Ty considered Michelle a threat. And who knows? Maybe they should have gotten her off then because she was the one who ended up winning. But he used his extra vote. He had 2 votes in one tribal council. And he used both of them on Michelle, and he was the only one who voted for Michelle. No one else did. And so of course Ty got criticized for it. You used it at A, the wrong time, and B, when he had the extra vote, he used it on the wrong person. Instead of using it for Aubrey, which everybody expected to vote Aubrey out, who finished second, by the way, in this season, he used it on Michelle, and you know the rest of the say is history, because Michelle stayed on there. Uh, but in terms of the show, it was a pretty good season. Definitely, they had a lot of cutthroat action in there. You had the youngest one on the show was Julia. I think she was about 18 or 19 years old when she was also. She just graduated from high school just before she trying out for the season, and she just got passed over the age limit because you had to be 18 to be on Survivor, and she said 22 or 23 years old. She lied about her age just to get on the show. In reality, she was only 18 or 19 tops. So she was also one of the hottest women or young women on the show. That's what I like about this particular season 32, because she did have when it brought back the brains, beauty, and brawn concept for season 32, and it was pretty good. And actually, most of the brawn were taken out. Pretty early because they lost the first couple of immunity challenges, so of course they went pretty quick. Uh, and of course, he did have one former basketball player in there, and he got blindsided by Ty. So of course he wasn't going to get his vote, and Jason the same thing. Jason was the guy that I didn't really like or care for. He was like the jerk of the season, and it was very surprising that Jason anyway has lasted that long in this season, because he was such a jerk to several people. And there was one point where he was flying for hitting a immunity idol. The contestants were running around looking for an immunity idol, and they finally got one down. Because it was sitting all the way up in the tree, they had to knock it down to get it, and they were flying over, and Jason got, and none of them really used it. But I thought that Jason should have been voted out before then, and at that moment he should have been voted out. That's for the way he acted towards people and then how you treat people. The other part of the way how people win survivors is that how you really treat people, and if you really mean and nasty and rude and gung ho, getting rid of one gender over the other, keep backstabbing people and screwing them. If you do it constantly, screwing people instead of saying lying to people's faces and all of a sudden turn their back on them and stab them in the back, and vote them out, so you have a better shot of winning. That type of strategy worked for Richard Hatch in the first season 16 years ago, and then over the years that strategy hasn't worked out because people turn on you and vote you out instead of you voting them out. And that's what happened with Jason, that's what happened with Scott, the basketball player. Uh, and I'm glad that a woman has won Survivor. I can't even remember the last time that a woman won Survivor. Because it had been a long time. I can't remember the last time a woman won the show, especially one who was smoking hot like Michelle is. Mark Burnett, who was the creator and producer of the show, if he happens to be watching this video, let me tell you, I'm a photographer by trade. Even though I do videos more like reviews for a hobby. If you haven't been watching this video, I'm interested in being the official photographer for Survivor, for the show or the film location, what's that, the photograph stuff, for publicity photographs for the show. So if you haven't been watching this video, or Jeff Probst, or anybody who works for Survivor, I'm interested in the job for being the official photographer for Survivor, and maybe putting out maybe a swimsuit calendar with all the hot women on the show, because you can't let all the beauty go to waste. That's for the television show. You can make money on it, and the money, of course, the money goes to, for, let's say, swimsuit calendars goes to charity, of course. But in terms of, there's been one promo for the video. But in terms of the show or the season itself, the season was pretty good and pretty entertaining enough. And this also was the first time in a long time when all the other networks piled stuff up against Survivor. Because the other shows also were showing the finales or the next to last finale, final episode for the 2015-2016 television season, and they're all piled up against Survivor this year. So they had to tape everything. That's the word Survivor, so they could do a review on it, or do this review on it. And it's it's a pain in the ass when that happens. But like I said, since this finale has been on Wednesday night for the last couple of seasons, most shows on the other networks pretty much end the season like a week, usually like a week earlier, but not this year for some reason. Well, whatever. I mean, who cares? It's one of my pet peeves for what happened for this finale for Survivor. But the show is still good. It's still entertaining enough. Even though it's not the ratings blockbuster that it was back in the early 2000s, when the show first came on the air, it was a novelty. It was huge deal. It's not that much of a huge deal anymore in terms of ratings, but it's still on the air. It's going to be another, at least in two more seasons, I think. There's one going to be, of course, starting in September. It's going to be people from Generation X versus the millennials. I mean, people who are born, let's say, in the 90s and grew up in the internet generation crowd versus my generation, which is Generation X. So they're trying to come up with different gimmicks. I won't be surprised if they have another blood versus water thing. One thing I'd like to see them bring back is maybe another All-Star version. Or another highly, one concept that Survivor hasn't tried is people who have won the game before versus people who got voted out first. That's the version that I haven't really done yet. And I think the reason for that is because most of the people who were Survivor who got voted out first, especially in the early seasons, were people who were in the 50s and 60s at the time of the season started. And I think the very first person who got voted out Survivor back in 2000 passed away. So that's going to be one of the harder versions to pull off. And that's to do with something like people who won and people who come in second. I mean, they could do that concept. A 1 versus 2 matchup. All the people who won, one tribe versus the people who finished second in that particular season. That would be a good concept too. There's other concepts they haven't tried yet on Survivor. They tried just about everything else, except for maybe an old celebrity version of Survivor, which they over the years they've had celebrities on there. Most recently, John the Racist Rocker, the former British relief pitcher, who had all those remarks about the number 7 train in New York City, which I ride all the time. They also have former baseball player Jeff Kent, and Lisa Welcher from the Facts of Life. Those are only three real celebrities that ever appeared on the show. But when the Survivor was hot, they also tried to throw a celebrity version, but then it never happened. It never materialized. But that would be fun too to have celebrities on it. And I'm talking about D-list celebrities. I'm talking about maybe A or A minus celebrities doing the show. I know I got on a tangent, but that's my review for Survivor Season 32 of Survivor Range vs. Born vs. Beauty. And like I said, congratulations to Michelle who won the $1 million. And I happen to live in New York, so look me up. Because I need a date for Saturday night. Look me up. Joking. But Michelle is hot. It's hot. And if you never need a photographer, look me up. So that's my review of Survivor 32. Please click on the video. Please read it. Please subscribe to my channel. And please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my videos and on my YouTube channel. But also you can go to rowdyc.com. It's all WDY and C.com. That's the homepage of the Rowdy Reviewer. Christine Moore. TV Trash Guy. Check out all of his TV Trash videos plus all of his other content on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.